This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this new Zinger model 280BH bunkhouse. Okay, I'm on the door side of the trailer at the rear, so you can see you have regular scissor type stabilizer jacks. I'm sorry, let me focus the camera there. Okay, and one more thing down here to keep in mind, you have a quick connect for a LP hose right there. Okay. Let me see what we got here. This one right here is for the cooktop right there on the top. So basically you're just going to take the male side of it and you're going to pull the blue plug out of that, of course, and then you're going to slide the collar back, stick the male end in there and let it go. It'll grab it, and then the lever on the side is a gas valve. You turn that parallel with the fitting and you're all set. Okay, so you just have to plug it in. Then you're just going to light this with a lighter. Okay, you got a refrigerator, it works on 110 AC. That will turn on as soon as you plug the trailer in, so you don't have to turn a switch or anything like that. It's always on if it's plugged in. You've got a long power awning with an LED strip. Your stairs fold into the trailer. I know I'm up very close with this camera, but it's the best I could do at this point. It's just a cell phone. So the thing to remember about this is you can adjust the length of the legs by pulling this pin out here and then sliding it up and down and putting it in the proper hole. You can adjust for the terrain. When you fold it in, you want to make sure you sweep it off really good because it likes to kind of throw the dirt inside. But it's very, very stable. In that sense, everybody loves them because it's a big improvement over the old style. All right, so this is just a service panel for your refrigerator. You always want to have this hose hanging out. That's for condensation. You don't really have to go in there. It's just for service. Okay, that's your furnace vent. This is antenna and power for a TV set. That is the vent for your range hood. That's over your stove and oven. So if you're running the range hood fan, there's a little baffle in there, and there's a latch in each corner, so you'll basically free up the baffle so it flaps freely and can vent if you're running the fan. Otherwise you're going to keep it closed. Okay, also you got outside speakers. This is your water heater. The switches to operate it are inside. It works on both gas and electric. That is your drain plug right there, just so you know. Okay. Okay. Now this is the fill for your fresh water tank. The most common way to get water into the trailer is through the city water hookup, which is on the other side. I'll show you that when I get over there. But if you go to a park or a campsite that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill this tank and use the water pump inside to pump the water. So even if you don't have city water, you still can use all the plumbing in the trailer. All right, this hole here, if you look through here, it's hard to see. You have to trust me a bit, but there's a shaft with a little rod that goes through it sideways, a pin. And that is so you can crank the slide out manually. If it happens to fail, you got to crank it about 1,000 times to get it to go out, but you can do it. So if you get to emergency, you can always get the slide room out. Let me get over here. This is your crank for your stabilizer. Okay, this particular little crank here goes on your tongue jack in case it fails. So you got a power tongue jack here. Okay, excuse my camera work, but you can pull that off and put the crank right on there and crank it if you need to. All right. Your hitch is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway. We'll show you how that works when you pick up your trailer. But you can always, if you're not familiar with these type of hitches and you need to refresh yourself, you can always go to their website and follow their video link, and they'll have hookup videos for that also. All right. 2 20-pound tanks. This is just a hookup for a solar panel to charge your battery. So if you ever wanted to get something like that, this is a Furrion brand. It would just plug right in there, okay? Deep cycle marine battery. Okay. This is part of your hitch system, obviously. We'll show you that. Alright, your slide out is shut. Now you're going to notice you have two gray tanks on this one. This one here is a galley tank, I believe. I'm trying to picture the layout inside, but yes, this would be gray tank number 2. Sometimes they call it a galley tank. So you're just going to put your hose on there. It goes into the dump station. You're going to pull the gate valve and dump it. Now if you come back here to your main dump station, it will, you have a black, and I'm going to pull these. There might be water in here because they've been water testing it, so let me just do this. Yep, sure enough. Gotta be on your toes. So that shows you how it dumps. Of course you would have the hose on it, and the other hose would be going into the dump station. So what you're going to do is you're going to dump obviously the black valve is for toilet water and waste. That goes to the black tank. The gray valve is sink and shower water. So you dump the black one first, and then when it's done dumping, you'll dump the gray one. You do that because the gray water is cleaner than the black water, obviously. So it'll clean out the hose somewhat. But this trailer has a black tank flush on it. Alright? So you come up here, I'll back up so you can see where I'm at. Okay? You will leave your black tank valve open, like it states on this little sticker here. And you'll hook the hose up here and turn on the water, and it'll actually spray out the inside of the black tank. You want to have the valve open though so it doesn't build up too much pressure. Okay, so that's a added feature, and it keeps your sensors nice and clean so you get a good reading on your monitor panel. And okay, so I mentioned city water. On the other side, I told you the freshwater fill was on the other side, but you usually would use city water. This is it right here. You just hook up the hose, turn it on, and you're all set. It's pressurized and ready to go. That's just an outside shower. Hot and cold water for kids and dogs and feet and whatever you want to hose down. Your power cord is 25 feet long and 30 amp. Alright. It just pulls out. You've got a ladder to go up on the roof, which is a good thing because you want to inspect the roof at least 3 times a summer. Every trailer ever made has to be inspected. So you go up there in the spring, you go up there in the fall, and once in the middle of the summer, and you're just going to look at all the sealant, make sure it's good and tight, there's no cracks forming, no separation, and odds are you won't have to do anything for a long time, but that's why you inspect it, just to make sure. If you see an issue starting, you get it taken care of immediately. Okay, that's very, very important. Also, that housing tells us this is pre-wired for a backup camera. This is a Furrion housing for a Furrion camera, so you have to get a Furrion camera that fits in there. We do sell them here if you're interested. You can talk to our parts people, but either way, if you decide to get one, you get the one that fits in that housing, okay? All right, let's move on into the trailer. Okay. All right, we're still cleaning in here, I think, somewhat, so maybe a little messy, but we're working on it. Okay, so let me look at all the panels and everything here, see what we've got. Okay, so obviously you've got 2 bunks. Now, the water, I told you about, I showed you the water heater on the outside, and you have to just keep in mind that you have to bypass the water heater before you winterize the trailer. That's something you'll have to educate yourself about a little bit to know how to do it, or else you can obviously have it done. But the bottom line is it has to be winterized. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. It has to be bypassed before you pump the antifreeze into the system when you're winterizing, because like I said, it'll leave a foul taste and a bad smell. You'll never get rid of it, so you can bypass it before you pump an antifreeze in. Hopefully that made sense to you. Okay. All right, so let me look around here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so this is your control panel here. I told you about the water pump. To pump your own water, you would also use this pump during winterization. All right, you just turn it on and it pressurizes the system. The water heater, to light it on gas, you use this switch. To light it on electric, you use this switch. Now, you have to make sure that there's water in the water tank always before you turn on the heating element or the flame, or else you'll do damage to it. So you never run it without water in it. All right, this is your slide out switch, so I'm going to look out the window here to make sure we got enough room, which we do. And I'll send the slide room out just by pushing out. So here it goes. You're going to hold your finger on the button, it'll go all the way out, and then it'll ratchet a bit when it gets all the way out. That's what it's supposed to do. As soon as you hear that noise, whether you're going out or coming in, you'll hear that noise, you just take your finger off the button. Okay, your awning is right here, so you're just going to extend it. I can only go part way with it, it looks like, but I'm just going to show you how that it's rolling out here. You can see it right up there coming by. So you're just going to roll it out till you see the awning tube, basically. When you see the metal awning tube, you know you're all the way extended. It goes out 8 feet, I believe. Okay, and bring it back in, right there. Okay. Lights, of course, in the trailer. The lights that are not hooked to that switch, they'll have some of them will have a button in the middle or a button on the side, whichever way, like that. You also have a LED strip. You can see it lit up there, I believe. Yep, you can see that. Okay. Okay, so to check your levels, your battery is charged. You always want to check the battery when you're not plugged in. Freshwater tank, I haven't dumped that, if you remember. I just dumped the black and gray tank number 1. So you can see we're right on the edge of being full. As we rock the trailer, the full light actually flashes on sometimes. We'll obviously have that drained when you pick up, but we're still water testing it. So you can see it lights up in 1/3 increments as it fills. So we're at 2/3 right now, so we got another third to go till it's full. The black tank, which we dumped, is empty now, but it will graduate up in 1/3 increments as it fills. Once you get past 2/3, you're going to have to start thinking about dumping the tank. Okay. And the gray tank, if you remember, we didn't dump the one I called the galley tank, or gray tank number 2. I'll still have to do that because it shows 1/3 in there. So there you go. So that's how you check the levels. You have a sound bar. It just has 2 zones, inside and outside. You can stream off this USB. You can hook up wirelessly with Bluetooth. So it does a lot of things. You got to mount a backer here to mount a TV bracket if you choose to. Your refrigerator is a Dometic gas absorption refrigerator. That means it doesn't have a compressor in it. It works with on a different system of cooling. Therefore, you can run it on 110 AC or you can run it on LP gas. So you turn it on just like that, right? And then you would select auto almost always. Auto means electric. The reason they call it auto is because it automatically searches out electricity, and if it can't find electricity, it'll automatically switch over to gas. Or if you're, let's say in the middle of the night, you're running it on electricity and you have a power failure at the campground, it'll automatically switch over to gas. That way you won't spoil your food. You can run it dedicated to gas just by going like that. If this light comes on right here, this check light, it means it faulted, it didn't light. There could be a little air pocket in there, so you just would shut it off and turn it back on again and let it run through the cycle again, okay? Yep, there you go. So the only other thing is the thermistor here. This thermistor, you can see the sticker, the higher it goes, the colder it gets. So you're going to slide this thing up. The white plastic thing you see is just a clip to hold the thermistor. The thermistor is actually on the edge of that beige cable. So you're going to slide them both up. The higher you go, the colder it gets in the refrigerator. Generally speaking, you're going to have it up all the way. This is the range hood I told you about, the vent on the outside and the baffle. You get a light and a fan. Microwave works like any other microwave. Let me see here, your range. Obviously you open the top. I don't know if I have the gas on or not here. Yes, I do. So you can see basically this is the sparkler to light it. You turn it clockwise. So you can see if I just turn on the gas here and then spark it, it lights. and that does that for each one of the 3 burners. The oven is a little bit different. If you look down here, all the way to the back, there's a pilot light. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to just take, this is the oven knob here, you take the oven knob and put it on pilot. You put it in, or you depress it in and hold it. Then you're going to spark this by turning it clockwise. When the pilot light lights, you're still going to be holding this in, and after it lights, you'll hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up. Then you go to whatever operating temperature you want, and it'll run like a normal oven, obviously. But when you shut it off, obviously your flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight it each time you use the oven. All right. Okay, so let's see where next. The other thing to really know about in the bedroom here is this is your escape window. You would push this all the way through. Hopefully you can see it with the contrast and the backlighting. And if you had to escape, you'd grab this tab here, which disconnects the screen. You'd pull it out, the screen will come out, and out the window you go. All right. Your lines are just up and down. If they ever loosen up to where they won't stay up, and let's say you're traveling down south somewhere, you're not going to have to go to a service center or anything. If they're just falling down, basically the tighter this line is, the tighter this is. So all you would do if it got too loose is you would draw this line through about a ½ inch or so, tie another knot in it to make it shorter and tighter, and that'll tighten up the blind, okay? Something you can do yourself easily. Okay, and also, if you want to hang a TV in here, you got antenna plus power, plus you got a backer right there to put a bracket. Okay, all right. You can turn this into a bed by pulling the poles out and setting the tabletop onto these cleats here, and then fill in the space with the back cushions, and you got a bed there. This one here is what? It's a jackknife. So you just jackknife this flat, and it's another bed. This is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector here. It should always be green like it is. If it ever goes off, it'll go off for carbon monoxide buildup or LP. You take everybody out of the trailer, you go up front, turn off your gas, and figure out what's going on, okay? Alrighty. Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you that your battery is low. This is just your analog thermostat. It's very simple. To the right is heat. One click to the left is your fan, which is the air conditioner running without the compressor. And then the next one over is the fan. Is the air conditioner with the compressor. It will, this is a 13.5, I believe, but I can't swear to it. I shouldn't have said that because I don't know that for a fact. But so, I'm not sure exactly what size it is, and it's not that important, whatever was ordered with it. So, basically, when you shut the heat off, there'll be a lag time. The flame will go out immediately, but you'll hear that it'll run for another couple minutes. That's normal. That's just purging itself and cooling itself down. So, okay. Went a long way there to say something simple. I tend to do that sometimes, you know. Okay. The shower works like any other shower. Sink works like any other sink. The toilet, the main thing to know about the toilet, it has a diagram here also, but you can't use it dry. Let me see where the pedal is. So that's just residual water. I have no water hooked up to it. But because we do still have water in the tank, what I'll do, I'll come over here. Whoops, where was it now? Come on. And I'll turn on the pump. So that pressurized. If you could hear that, the pump turned on and it built up pressure and shut off. Okay. So now, when you step on it, it flushes. Okay. Now, you can't use this toilet dry or without chemicals. So, when you pull into the campground, you'll park, obviously. You're going to hook up your water, hook up your power. Then you come in here and you'll take your toilet chemical, whichever chemical you're going to use. You'll put a dose right in there. And then you'll step on the pedal and just hold it till about a gallon or two go in there, you know. You can't tell exactly what that is, but you just use common sense. The bottom line is you got to have chemical and water in it when you first start using it. You can't use it dry and without chemicals. So you always want to make sure that you put some water and some chemical in it. All right. Let me look around and see if I've forgotten anything. I think I didn't tell you about the power converter yet, so we'll do that. This is the power converter. What this device does, it converts 110 AC down to 12 volt DC, or over to 12 volt DC. So you can see on this side you got 110 AC regular household circuit breakers here. They're labeled. Then the power is converted over to 12 volt DC, and you have fuses there, right? And they're labeled. If any of these fuses were to blow, you'll actually see them glowing through the plastic, and that's how you know that it needs to be replaced. It's also a battery charger, so if your battery's low, it'll send as much energy as it needs to charge it. If it's charged, it'll just trickle a couple amps to it, whatever, as long as you're plugged in, of course. So it'll keep your battery charged also. Okay. Alrighty. So I think I've covered it now. So let me look around. One other thing, this GFCI here in the kitchen, all the plugs are wired through it. So if you're using a coffee pot outside and it pops, you're always resetting it here, okay? Because all the plugs are wired through it. Alrighty. So I think I've got it here. Let me look around. Yep. So basically, like I said, the important thing is to inspect your roof 3 times a year. That's with all trailers. It's the most important thing I can tell you about owning a trailer. Also, you want to bypass your water heater, obviously, before you pump any antifreeze into it. So, okay. I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer from National RV Detroit, and make sure you do a lot of camping with it. That's the important thing. So, thank you.